Yo, what's going on? It is 1 p.m. here in Crystal Lake. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Monday, September 22nd, 2025. Whew, we are definitely in fall marathon season. Sydney Marathon feels like not that long ago. Berlin Marathon was just last weekend. And we got Chicago Marathon on the horizon, just a couple weeks away. And I think there's just a lot to talk about. World Championships finally wrapped up. It's such a long meet. I can't believe how long it is, but it's finally wrapped up. So lots of running results to talk about. I don't know how much you guys watched, but I've been watching a bunch of it with my daughter. So that's been really, really fun. And we'll talk a lot more about that today. But first, I want to say hi to everyone listening on the audio only version on the podcast. I'm just realizing now that I think I forgot to post last episode. So hopefully you listened to that one first, and then now you're listening to this one. If it's out of order, it probably doesn't matter all that much. But either way, hopefully I apologize, and I hope that you enjoy either one of those in whatever order that you listen to them. And for everyone else watching this later but not live, hopefully you're enjoying this too. Hopefully you finished cooking dinner, and that it was a good one, and that it wasn't too much to clean up afterwards. I feel like there needs to be a word. Maybe there's a German word of, I hope your dinner was delicious and not too cumbersome to make. You know what I mean? There's probably a German word for that. If anyone knows a German word for something like that, or maybe there's a Japanese word for it, let me know. I would love to know it. Okay. All right, let's see what we got here in the chat. Milbert5100 says, did you pick up any Tokyo exclusive shoes, Co? No, I didn't. I actually did not buy any shoes while I was in Tokyo. I wanted to buy Thomas didn't buy any shoes. I don't know if he bought any shoes, but he did find a Japan exclusive colorway of New Balance shoes while he was there. And instead of buying it, he just reached out to someone at New Balance and they're sending him a pair. So I guess Thomas got a pair of Japan exclusive shoes. The thing that I wanted to get, I haven't listened to the Believe in the Run recap yet, but a bunch of them went out and got watches while they were there. Which makes sense. Seiko is based out of Japan. And I was tempted to look at some Seikos as well. But I'm not a huge watch guy. I have one watch. I mean, not running watch. I have like one analog watch. And that's plenty for me. I only got one wrist. I guess a lot of times I do wear two watches at a time. But people don't do that with nice watches. But the thing I did want to get, and I came very close to doing it, and then I didn't. I wanted to buy some Japanese steel for a kitchen knife. I wanted to get like a chef's knife, or maybe, they have those there's meat cleaver style knives, and then they have the thin ones. So it looks like just like a long rectangle. I was thinking about maybe getting one of those. I went to a couple of knife shops, and I didn't put it in the video because I didn't get one. And I wasn't going to film them unless I was going to buy one. And so I didn't buy one, so I didn't film any of the knife shops. But the prices were good. It's just still a lot of money, though. And I was like, I don't know if I need to be spending that much money. But yeah, there was that's I think if I do go to Japan again ever, I'm probably going to come home with some steel. That's what I think. Adam's like, would you put it in your carry-on? No, I would have put it in. I had 2 checked bags. So what I did was when I left, I had like 1 checked bag worth of luggage, but I just packed 2 suitcases, and then all the souvenirs and other stuff that I brought home were spread out across the 2 suitcases, and it was fine. I did need another suitcase. I didn't fill both my suitcases, but yeah. So, and when you go to Tokyo, leave a lot of space in your luggage when you go. Rob DeGennaro says, got a 10K PR this weekend. Nice work. You ran at the Great Cow Harbor race. Perfect weather. Oh, that's awesome. Very cool. So I was just thinking about how Berlin was hot. And every time there's a hot major, I always hear kind of the same rumblings of with climate change and how everything's just getting hotter. When are they going to start moving race weekends? When are they going to start moving it further back? because we keep getting all these majors and they're very hot. And I was just thinking about it over the past couple of days, and I'm thinking, I don't think they're going to change it. If anything, I think that they are happy. I mean, not happy, but like I think the pressures to move it to a later time in the year for better weather is counterbalanced and probably outweighed by the fact that I think that race organizers are going to henceforth really like hot hot weather races. At least ones that are paying big appearance fees. Like your local race, where like your last chance BQ, those kinds of races, they're gonna really advertise how they have great weather. But if it's a race that's hard to get into and that the race organizers are paying appearance fees to athletes to come and race, I think they're going to love hot weather. Because what happens when you have a hot race? Everyone holds back, and then it's a sprint finish. And then it's very dramatic. Look at the men's and women's races in Tokyo. I think that in Berlin, we had some close finishes as well. In Paris, we had a close finish. And those all happened because I think because it was hot. Because you're not running the same way you would run if the weather was perfect. And so it tends to lead for more tactical racing at the end. Mm. And Luke says, by the way, it's the first day of autumn today. Hot for my liking, but fall nonetheless. So what's weird is today I did a long run, a 16-mile run, and it was hot and humid. Yeah, it was so gross. And the weird thing is on the bike path that I ran, there's a lot of tree cover, so it's very nice. But like the trees are losing their leaves already. So like it rained a bunch last night. There were some storms that came through. So there's all sorts of leaves all over the bike path. And it looks like fall. It looks lovely. The colors are great to the extent that I could see like fall leaf colors changing. It looks like it's great. It looks like a non-colorblind person would think it's very pretty. But it's still so uncomfortably hot. It was gross. Really, 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 really gross. Jeffrey Tank says, speaking of Boston qualifiers, Jeffrey Tank says, tapering for Niagara Falls Marathon. It is a Boston qualifier. Jeffrey, tell me more about this Niagara Falls Marathon. That sounds fun. I was just thinking about Niagara Falls the other day. One, because I've been thinking about going to Canada a lot more lately. But the other thing is, I went to Niagara. My parents took me to Niagara Falls when I was very, very young. I have pictures of it. I do not remember it at all. And any other time I was like, can we go to Niagara Falls? I think we should go see it. My parents were like, we already went. You were little. I have pictures. And so they never took me again. And I feel like I want to take my kids to Niagara Falls. But if there's a marathon there, then I feel like I can make it even, maybe it makes it even more compelling of a reason for all of us to go. That'd be kind of cool. But if it's going to be hilly, I'm out. Yeah. Frank says, did they tie your obi for you when you put on the kimono? I don't know what the obi is. If you're talking about like the thing that looks like a cummerbund, I think they did everything for me. I don't know how to put any of that stuff on. So, but it was cool. It was really nice. I mean, I'm biased. I'll say that the Korean hanbok is a little bit nicer and I look a little bit better in it, but I felt like I looked pretty good in the kimono and it was comfy. I was like, I could walk around like this. Like I could see wearing this. One of the things that I think I only started to appreciate more now, having gone to Tokyo when it's hot. I mean, I guess it's not the middle of summer; it's September, but like it felt summer hot to me. Is that I feel like a lot of like Japanese fashion, both traditional and modern, makes a lot more sense when you realize that people don't wear shorts unless they're exercising. Like unless they're actively exercising, it's like their athleisure is not as much a thing. And in every other instance, people are wearing pants even when it's super hot. And like the shape and cut of things makes it so that clothes aren't sticking to you, so there's more airflow. Anyway, so I feel like I understood a lot. Like I'm like, This makes sense. All this stuff now, all this stuff makes sense because it's hot there. It's really, really hot there. And yeah, I was so uncomfortable. But I felt like the kimono, I was like, this is a lot. I'm wearing like 5 layers of clothes, but I feel like I could rock this in the heat. I kind of wanted to wear one. If I had more time, I would have done the thing where you're allowed to like rent it and walk around Asakusa. That would have been really fun. Mm. Lars M says, "Yo, what's going on? Please tell us about the pizza you tried. It sounded wild on the drop this week. I didn't eat the pizza. The Megans had pizza at that Italian restaurant that we went to. I don't think I had any of it. I've had pizza I've had pizza in Tokyo before, and if you go to a place that like specializes in pizza, it's really good. I feel like the Japanese love technique, right? I mean, and a lot of Asian cultures do too, the Koreans as well. But like, I feel like that's why sports like golf, tennis, and baseball are all very popular, is because there's so much technique involved. But also in the cooking, it shows up as well. And so if there's a place that's like known for its pizza, guarantee it's going to be really, really good pizza, consistent with whatever style they're looking to be a practitioner of. So I didn't have it, but I'm sure it was good. Some of the weird stuff though, my the funniest thing that happened on the trip was when we were at there was this one dinner that like A6 had like, prearranged like a 3-course meal, and I got the vegan one. And so mine was like, like cucumbers and fresh tomatoes and like a salad, right? Pretty boring. But like for the meat eaters, the opening course was like liver pate on a crostini, like a little crunchy cracker, and then like steak tartare on basically a tortilla chip. And I don't think Thomas has had either of those things before. But I was like, Thomas, you should eat it. I think you're really going to like it. And I did think he was going to like it because I'm like, the Japanese don't miss when it comes to like making food. So I'm like, I bet you that's real good. But he to his credit, he ate both of them. And he didn't do a little nibble. He went in full bite. And he ate it. But he's like, this is not for me. And I think based on his reactions, the Megans each did not want to eat theirs. So it was really funny. It was really funny. I wish it was. I thought about eating theirs, but no. Oh, Laura says the pizza was cod roe. Oh, did they have cod roe pizza? I don't remember. I think that was on the menu. I don't know if they ordered that. Did they order that? I can't remember. Was there another time we had pizza? I don't remember. Could be. But if it was if it was at the Italian restaurant after sumo, I just had highballs. I just had drinks. I don't think I ate anything while I was there. But yeah. Adam says that though, speaking of the Japanese loving things that are technique based, they love running, which is not very techniquey. I would disagree. I think running is very techniquey, especially in the way that the Japanese practice it. Yeah, I mean, I think that one way if something is very technique oriented is whether like you can get better at it simply by practicing it a lot. I mean, I guess most things are that way, but like it's different than say being good at basketball. I mean, basketball also has a lot of technique too, and the Japanese do like basketball. But I feel like, yeah, like things that Koreans are really good at, which Koreans also share the affinity for like technique and practice based stuff, like that shooting sport in the Olympics, archery, table tennis, badminton, a lot of those kinds of things. We're very good at short track skating. We're very good at those. We're not as good at running, and I think that it's a matter of time. But like the running bug did not hit Korea in the same way it hit Japan. I don't know. JC says, do they subscribe to the 10,000 hours theory? I'm not sure, but I'm sure that there's some sort of thing like that. There's probably a Japanese word for it too. All right, Chuck Miller says, the Indianapolis Monumental Marathon is about 6 weeks out, November 8th. From what I hear, the course is pretty flat, fast, and the race is growing in popularity. What do you think of the Indy Marathon? I ran it back in 2019, maybe. I think it was 2019 when I ran it. It is mostly flat. There is a section where you're kind of like coming off the highway and you go like on an exit ramp or something like that. There's a kind of a weird downhill, and then you come back out of there and there's an uphill. And there's another section where I felt like it was just kind of slightly uphill for a really long time. But for the most part, the course is very flat and fast. I really like it because, I mean, it's been 6 years since I run it, so I guess things could have changed. But it's one of those really easy, like drop in and head out kind of races where you can come into town. It's very quick to get through the expo. It's pretty chill getting to the start line, and then you run your race, and then it's very easy to get back out of town if you need to, want to make it a quick weekend trip. Very similar to like CIM in a lot of ways. I would say that the kind of mentality in a lot of those is pretty similar. I think CIM has a little bit more of a focus on we came all the way out here to run fast, but I do think that a large portion of people that run Indy are running it because it's fast. A lot of people run Indy also because it's around the same time as Chicago, but maybe they couldn't get into Chicago, so you pick Indy instead. If I remember correctly, they used to be closer in time. Now, like, Chicago's like 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out, and if Indy's 6 weeks, I guess that's still pretty close. Yeah, but I really liked it. The thing that was a problem for me in Indy, and again, they might have changed this, but I don't really feel like that they have from things that I heard. In my experience, when I ran it in 2019, is that like it was very congested in the start, and there was not a lot of like, it's so chill in terms of getting to the start line that like a lot of people were standing in the wrong spot. And so you're trying to get this race started, and there's people like stopping, walking within the first kilometer, and there's a half marathon that gets run at the same time. And I feel like sometimes people got confused. And when they stood at like the 3-hour pace group, they were standing at the 3-hour half. They thought they were standing at 3-hour half marathon, but it was 3-hour marathon. So like there was a lot of like just confusion, and people were in the wrong spot. And so that led to a very chaotic start. And then you're running in the city, and it's pretty dark when it starts. And there was a lot of, I feel like there was trip hazards, a lot of like curbs and stuff like that, and medians and things like that. So that was the only thing. But other than that, it was, yeah, I mean, there's just little complaints like that. It's not a huge deal. It was fine. I'm much more chill when I start a race these days, so I probably wouldn't even notice it today. But yeah, but otherwise it is a flat and fast course, I would say. Mm. All right, AJ says 33,000 applied for Boston and 36,000 applied last year. I'm 509 under, so chances are looking up. Missed last year by 138 seconds. So there's this guy. I think I got to, let me see if I can find it. Running with Rob or something like that, or Rock, I want to say. Yeah, here it is. This guy. Okay, let me share this with you guys. I've always had this capability. I just never share things with you guys, but here we go. We're gonna try this today. So this guy running with Rock, I think he just does this part-time, or he does this for fun. And so he's been doing this thing with like he's been doing some, pretty serious data analysis on what he thinks the cutoff's going to be for 2026. And I've kind of gone down the rabbit hole of like reading all of his stuff about it. I don't even care personally. I mean, it's interesting to me, but I'm not planning on, I didn't submit a time. I I'm not planning on racing it again, you know? So I don't care, but it's just been really fascinating. And his current projection is 537 you're going to need. And that's even considering the fact that the race has been, all the standards have moved, right? And so, yeah. So the main thing I hear is this assumption is that the dashboard relies on the assumption that the number of applicants to the Boston Marathon is proportional to the number of runners who qualify in a given year. And he goes into detail about his data set. So like every time he posts something about his prediction, everyone's like, including me, is like, yeah, but did you consider that they changed the standard this year versus last year? And he's like, you know, the way my data works, it doesn't matter because the number he's using is not people who have run a certain time. It's people who have run their BQ time or something like that. So yeah, so 537 is his current cutoff. But he said that he used to be at like between 5 to 6 minutes. And they recently adjusted it to like not quite 6 minutes. And I forget what the rationale was. I don't remember if it was like have been more. I don't know, but he did something where he like it was massaging the data a little bit, and he thinks it's going to be 537. I don't remember. I don't know what his statistics are like for, or his track record is for how correct he has been in past years, but it's been really interesting. So the website's called Running with Rock, Brian Rock. Yeah. So, and he says he's following me on Threads for the latest updates, and that's how I found him. I just started seeing him on Threads. Yeah. So pretty cool if you guys are interested in that. So 537 is not good for you, AJ. AJ says 537 with the freaked out eyes emoji. I don't know what that emoji's called, but that's what I'm called that. Yeah. Louis says, I'm in a new age group, but still not close enough to qualify. I'm sorry. Yeah. Sean says, how's it projections panned out? I don't remember. I haven't looked back at his track record. And you know, Martha says, you know, unless they enlarge the field a little to satisfy popular sentiment of late, you know, yeah, it's basically I mean, like the rationale makes sense. What he's using is like he's not basing it based on like how many people ran what time. It's how many people have hit their BQs, and so he's been following. Like he updates whenever he fought like an event happens, and he's not just looking at majors. He's looking at lots of stuff. And he had a post about like, will people be reluctant, especially Canadians, to go to Boston? And well, maybe with what's going on politically in terms of the Canada and the U.S., discourage people from going to Boston. And he's like, and I agree with him. He's like, well, based on the people that kind of go to Boston, probably they're not the kind to protest. So, yeah. And Jack D says, well, looks like my aim for 250 to BQ won't be enough, LOL. Yeah, I mean, again, it's a prediction. It seems bonkers to me that they can adjust the standard by 5 minutes and then still you'd need a 5-minute buffer. I mean, that basically means that you would have needed in last year like an 11-minute buffer from last year, because wasn't it like 5 something last year too? So like I don't know, it's just wild. I hope he's wrong, you know, because it's just the amount of people that will be devastated from it is pretty crappy. But yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's see. What else do we want to talk about? All right, here we go. This is what I was looking for. Kevin Nevis says, welcome back stateside. Shoe question. We haven't played that sound in a while. Welcome back stateside. Shoe question. If you had to pick between the Puma Deviate Nitro Elite 3 or Metaspeed Sky Tokyo for your next PB attempt at the marathon, which would you choose and why? I ran in the Nitro Elite 3 for. Did I do my half marathon on that? I've raced in both of those shoes, I'm pretty sure. And I like them both. I just ran into Sky Tokyo for Sydney. I like them both a lot. I probably would lean more towards Metaspeed Sky Tokyo, but that's because of what I like. I think the Nitro Elite 3 is more like Metaspeed Edge Tokyo. And so if the question is Metaspeed Edge or Nitro Elite 3, I feel like that's an even closer question to me because those are more similar shoes. And I think that even then, I would still probably pick the Edge Tokyo because I'm not an Edge person, because I feel like this year's Edge is more forgiving. And so even I feel softness in the Edge, which I like a little bit in my race shoes. Whereas the Nitro Elite 3, I don't feel as much softness. Soft isn't the word I would use for it. It feels fast. It feels agile. It feels propulsive. It feels responsive. But it doesn't feel soft. It doesn't feel firm, but it doesn't feel soft to me, you know? So it's just a different kind of feel. Whereas I feel like that super shoe sensation that I like, I get the most from the Metaspeed Sky Tokyo. And I think that Edge Tokyo is probably a little bit closer between those two and the Nitro Elite 3. So that's how I would pick the Metaspeed Sky Tokyo for me, if I had to pick. Leroy McCoy says, I'm a 534 buffer, so fingers crossed. Oh, man. That's going to be so close. The number's 537. Ugh. Andrew Scott says, take that time and use it to meet the standard for a different major. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, does Chicago still have a good for age way to get in? I think Chicago still might, and you probably could get into Chicago if you've got a solid BQ for most people. For Berlin, I haven't looked at Berlin in a while, but Berlin's speedy runners, the last time I looked at it, which has been a while, was for the 40 to 49-year-old age group, so it's a big age group. You'd have to run a 2:48 to get a guaranteed non-complimentary entry. And so, which is what we're talking about with BQs, a guaranteed, even then with BQs it's not guaranteed, which is what Calvin's saying. It's not a BQ then by definition, you know. But like, yeah. So, in the good for age for London Marathon is only available to UK runners. So that's not an option for most people. For Tokyo, I don't think has one. I don't think there is an. I've never looked, but I don't remember seeing one either. Yeah, and I don't think New York does New York have one? You guys let me know. It sounds like I feel like New York probably has one, right? Maybe. David DeFrange says, when is the run club trip to Judy's Cafe? Do you guys want to go? Should we all go and have a run and then eat at Judy's Cafe? Do you guys know Judy's Cafe? Hi, I'm Judy. Eat my pancakes. Do you guys know Judy's Cafe? I love Judy's Cafe. And it's not close to here, but it's not far. Is Luke Talbot in here? Luke, how far is Judy's Cafe from you? I feel like it'd be like a triangle from where you are and where I am to get to Judy's Cafe. It's like in Davenport or something like that, right? Or it's somewhere far. But it's like not that far, you know? So I feel like I want to go, like we should have a run club at Judy's Cafe. Do you think Judy would run with us? If I was like, Judy, if I could bring in like 40 people. I don't know if we could get 40 people to Judy's Cafe. But if I was like, I'm gonna make an Instagram reel about Judy's Cafe as the best place to eat pancakes after a run, do you think Judy would run with us? Does anyone know what we're talking about? Or is it just me and David that know? Oh, okay. Eric the Red says, Yeah, she is awesome. Andrew Scott says the lady is hilarious. Eric Torres says it is in Illinois. Um, Man, Sonny said that'd be fun. It's in Galesburg, where I don't know where Galesburg is. Um, yeah, and David says yes. I think she would be. She would be great content. Yeah. Daniel says the pancakes eating contest. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Maybe we need to figure this out. I think we need to do that. JC says that New York City does have a good for age way to get in, and it's tougher than Boston. Okay, well that makes sense. If you need to otherwise do a 9+1, simply running fast, you probably gotta be real fast. You know what I mean? Mm. Stevie76 says, is Ben Johnson planning to do all the majors every year? I don't think he does them all every year. He did Boston this year. Did he do? He hasn't been to Tokyo yet. I think. I think Tokyo's the one he's still missing. Right? Or did he go to Tokyo? I thought he was missing Tokyo. I don't think he's gonna go to Sydney every year. You know what I mean? Because he took his whole family. So I don't know. I can ask. Herm says I'll come for some cakes. Should we do a road trip? Herm, are you coming to Chicago for the marathon? Maybe when are you coming? Maybe we'll do a little quick trip out to. It's not gonna be that quick. That's far, but I don't know. Maybe we can think of something. Figure out. Real when you Judy's pancake. I think it's so funny. What's funny is that you guys have been thinking about it, and I have also been thinking about it. All right. Sega Dreamcast says, "Have you considered what marathon you'd like to do next?" Yes, I'm already signed up for it. I've already started training. Training technically started on Monday, but I was in Japan, and so this last week was not a great week. But I've started this week strong with the long run. So, but my next marathon is Valencia. I'm going with Sports Tours. They're taking me out to Valencia, and I'm gonna try to run this one fast. And I was thinking that, like, all right, I'll work hard to get ready for Sydney, but I won't work like getting in PR shape hard for Sydney, especially since it's gonna still be hot, summer hot here. And then I'll have a good base going into Valencia. But I also just went to Japan, which was not an easy trip on the body. Fun, but not an easy trip on the body. And I did run a decent amount while there, so that's good. But and coming back off of that, last week's running was not great. There was a struggle. So I don't know. I got like 9. There's 11 weeks left. 9 if you figure the taper. So we got like 9 weeks to get it sorted, which I think is plenty of time still. But I need these temperatures and humidity to go down a bunch. All right. Someone asked me about shoes. Oh, Midlife Runner wants to know. Is the Ray soft like the Cielo X1 2.0 kind of slight softness? I'd say it's the Ray is soft. It's very soft. Cielo X1 2.0 is, I think, pretty close, but it's still very different. I think with the Cielo X1 2.0, they did a lot to really stabilize that foam. So it's same but different. Similar, kind of similar but different. But yeah, I'd say that's a decent comparison foam. I'd say the closest foam is probably the Endorphin Elite, the Incrediron foam that's in the Endorphin Elite 2. But that foam is mushy, I feel like. And it's nice on the compression, but on the decompression, it's a little bit groggy. And so I feel like it doesn't quite snap like I want it to. And so that foam is the closest. The Ray snaps like I want it to after compressing a lot too. That's how I would talk about it. So he says, "Hey, Co, how's the creatine addition to the diet coming along?" I don't know. I've been taking it pretty regularly. I take it more regularly, more like diligently than I take my vitamin supplements. I take a vitamin B and an iron supplement, and I forget to take those a lot. The creatine I'm remembering, mainly because the creatine is tasty. The first one that I had from X Endurance was nice. I liked that one a lot. It was tart. It was kind of lemony. This one is more like this new one from Podium is more like a raspberry lemonade, which normally I don't like raspberry or berry flavored things. But this one I do like. It's very nice. Not as tart, but really sweet. And then I took, what brand is it? Oh, well, Momentous. Momentous creatine little packets. I brought those with me to Japan. And when it was humid out, and basically when I woke up every morning and I was like tired and feeling groggy, and I'm like, it's gonna be so hot when I go outside. So before the mornings when I took it, I was craving it. I was really liking it. So it was tasty. But if it's doing anything for me, I don't know. I mean, my running is okay right now. Um, but it's still so hot. And once it cools down, like that's when like, time for the truth to come out. Because then right now I can blame the heat for like, I don't know, it's hard to say. Like the heat is masking whether I'm progressing or not. But once it cools off, if I'm still like running like I am now, then I'm like, oh, I got a problem. So we'll see how it goes. Mm. Oh, so he said Ben did Tokyo this year and he got a 6-star there. He might be doing all of them in 1 year then. Okay. Morgan, the running guy, says, "Are you going to be in New York for the Marathon Co. Shakeout Run?" I'm not going to New York this year, and the main reason is because it's like November 2nd, right, or like November 1st, and so that would mean I have to miss Halloween. And my kids are getting a little bit older, and my older daughter already kind of like would rather go trick or treat with her friends, um, but I want to be at home. I still have a younger daughter too. And so I want to be home. And I've been to New York the last 3 years in a row. And so I'm trying to be more selective in stories that I'm telling. Especially if I've, so like stories that I've told before, those are kind of on the chopping block. So Chicago, I'll be in Chicago again. I've told the Chicago story many, many, many times, but like it's local. It's easy for me to go. It'd be weird for me to not go. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be weird for me to kind of watch this from my house when it's like an hour and change drive away, and so I'll be in Chicago. I won't be at New York. I'm not going to the running event. Yeah, so I'm trying to like be very selective. I don't think that I'm going to be able to eliminate Boston from my calendar. One, it's super fun. I really enjoy it. But two, it's like it's just such a big event. And the group runs that we're able to do there are some of the biggest events that I do. Chicago is like the second biggest. So those are hard to eliminate. So I'm like, I gotta start saying no to some things. And I'm gonna be really annoyed when New York weekend happens and I see everyone else doing stuff and I'm not there. But I have to start saying no to some things. Calvin says, before we get new batch of releases, favorite super shoe outsole to date? I don't really think about outsoles all that much, to be honest. I really like the outsole on the Adios Pro 4. The Adios Pro 4 is not my favorite running shoe. I'm really starting to wonder if the Adios Pro 3 was better than the Adios Pro 4. I don't know what it is. I mean, I like it. It's good, but I don't find myself reaching for it. I do really like the Fast R3 a lot. And I feel like, so how much I like the shoe carries it a long way, Yeah. I'm looking at the shoes in the frame here. The Metaspeeds outsoles are always great for me. I don't have problems with traction a lot. And so I feel like outsoles is an area of shoe reviews that I'm a little weak on because I'm like, nah, could have used less rubber. Otherwise, it was fine. You know, like that's kind of how I feel about most outsoles. Mm. Ogazi says, "Are you drinking more than normal? Because people forget creatine dehydrates you a bit too, so you need extra." I guess I am. I've been trying to be good about just drinking lots of fluids during the summer because it's been so hot. But um, yesterday was not a good day for me. I felt like I did a pretty good job in Japan. I feel like I did a good job in Sydney when I was traveling of staying very hydrated. Um, but yeah, I'll have to remember that. Oh, Johnny Dodgen says, should Julia Patternane go on the spreadsheet for fastest endorphin elite for third place in Tokyo World Championships Marathon? I haven't looked at. I was just thinking about that the other day because I was looking at that Sebastian Sawe. Um, I was like, oh, which Adios Evo Pro did he run in, and is that on the list? I'll have to take a look at that. Let me screenshot this so I don't forget. Um, yeah, Julia Patternane was amazing. But yeah, I noticed she was running in, and then I was like, oh, she's. I was like, I haven't seen a lot of people racing those. It's amazing. Herm says that Audios Pro 3 was 100% was better. Oh, okay. And Calvin says AP3 was great apart from the upper. Switch it with the Pro 4 upper, and we would have been fine. Oh, I didn't really have a problem with Audios Pro 3 upper. I'm trying to think. I do like the Audios Pro 4 upper quite a bit, though. Feels really nice. And Andrew Scott says the laces on my Audios Pro 3s tend to get pretty loose the deeper I'm into my run. They kind of drive me nuts, but I like the shoes a lot. But they use like the spaghetti laces, don't they? Yeah, these are thin laces. That's why. I see what you mean, for sure. But this was a good shoe. And then the Audios Pro 4 also a good shoe though. Martha says, every time I've had a shoe about which some people or reviews complained about traction, I never have any such issues. That's how I feel about it a lot of times too. The amount of people who have yelled at me for the Nova Blast having bad traction, I'm just like, I don't know what you are running on. Are you running on like wet slate? Is that what's happening? You know, that's what I'm like. Tell me, what are you running on when you're having these problems? Because I've run on like wet concrete, like sidewalks, wet asphalt, wet like pea gravel. You know, like I don't. Yeah, I don't know what people are doing in their shoes sometimes. Patrick says, "Hey, Coach, not sure if you have a spring marathon plan, but if you'd consider doing McCurdy Breaking 3 or Jersey City, we can do it together." Well, that sounds fun. I don't have a marathon plan for this spring. I'm not planning on doing a marathon in the spring. I'm trying not to do a marathon in the spring, is what I'm trying to do. So like I'd gone into 20. My original plans for 2025 was to just run a bunch of half marathons. And I started this year, I started off strong, half marathon in January, right? And I was going to just race a bunch of half marathons, and then things changed. And so that didn't really work out. So I was thinking 2026 might be the year where I do a bunch of half marathons, because I'd like to try and tackle the super halves, because I think that's a fun idea. But it requires a lot of international travel, and I was hoping sports tours had packages for that, because that would be the easiest way for me to do them. But they don't go to a lot of the super halves. Not yet, anyway. So, yeah. But I am at the Jersey City Marathon did look fun, which is a weird thing to say. I never thought I'd say that. But I've seen a couple people race it, and I'm like, oh, that looks like just a nice get out there and run hard. So he says, Mike, what about a small town marathon or half? I feel like someone messaged me, and my wife also told me about. What's the marathon that's coming? That's in Iowa. Is it the Des Moines Marathon or something like that? So I was thinking maybe I would do that one just for funsies, you know, since I do spend a lot of time in Iowa. So I was thinking about it. Adam says, I'm planning on the USA Fit Marathon, January 25th in Sugar Land as my next or last sub 3. Course is basically 2 times out and back with 3 roundabouts on each. Flat, flat, flat. Oh, I like that. But I'll be running Valencia, so that's only a month after Valencia. Oh, I guess that's like almost 2 months after Valencia. Yeah. I mean, I guess it depends on how things go in Valencia. If I get like a hot weather day and I'm like, dang it, I came all the way out here because it was flat and good weather. Interesting. So he says that Iowa Marathon should be called the Corn Sweat Marathon. And Raquel says the Des Moines Marathon is October 19th. Is that this year or 2026? It's probably 2025. Okay. Raquel says there's an I-35 challenge. We do Kansas City Saturday and Des Moines on Sunday. Oh, for real? Okay. Okay. She says it's this year. That's not going to really fit with Valencia training, but that does sound fun. I mean, I feel like it's the most Midwest marathoning ever because how far is the drive from Kansas City to Des Moines? That's not close. Those are not close at all. Like it's two Midwest marathons with like an 8-hour drive in the middle. You just stop at a bunch of Casey's and come and goes along the way. Oh, Raquel says 4 hours. 4 hours is not bad. Still, that's pretty funny. All right, I'm gonna have to think about that one. That maybe I don't know if I could do that this year. With Valencia, I'm trying to actually run fast in Valencia, and I don't think doing a double marathon weekend is a good idea. That's really funny. Mark Cardina says you should try the Indy Mini sometime. I would like to run the Indy Mini. I think that'd be fun. That's the one that ends in the Brickyard, right? Like you end in the stadium, the Speedway. One of the things that I was thinking about doing for 20. See, here's the thing. I do all this planning and I think about all these themes and stuff, and then then another like World Marathon Major gets announced or whatever, and then I'm like, well, now I'm gonna want to run that. And so this year the plan was this year I will do half marathons, and then 2026 I was gonna do a lot of like masters track meets, and I still might do that for 2026. I'd like to get back in the steeple, do another one of those. I'd also like from a news coverage perspective, or like a race coverage perspective, like as much as I love travel, like it's really hard for me. So one of the things that I'm looking at is following just more of the USATF championships. So like going for like, what's the one, the 25K in Florida, that one, or like the 20K champs, and following more of those races. Because I feel like those races, they'll give me media credentials so I could be like in the mix zone afterwards. And the funny for a lot of those, there really isn't much of a mix zone because they're smaller races. And so I feel like that feels like something that I want to spend more of my time doing. I want that feels interesting to me. I like roads a lot. I had such a good time at Worlds. The track world is fun, but it doesn't feel like my world a lot of the times when I'm there. So yeah. So I'm thinking. So lots of thoughts. Lots of thoughts. Martha says you're going to Cape Town, Mike. That I mean, I haven't talked to. If I do, it'd be going with sports tours. I haven't talked to them about it yet, but if I can go, I guess I'll be running a spring marathon then. Even though I don't want to be running a spring marathon, I want to take a break from a spring marathon. Here's the thing, though. I love. Oh wait, Adam says the 25K champs is the Grand Rapids, Michigan River Run. What's the one that's in Florida? Isn't there like? Is that the? I don't know. Anyway, those are the kinds of races that like I've never been there, and I want to go and like tell the American road running stories. Although some of those aren't on roads, but like anyway, like do I go? Adam mentioned I didn't pull up the comment, but Adam mentioned like the U.S. cross country championships. Do I start going to those? Oh, is it Gate River Run? I think that's the one that I'm thinking about. And then New Haven has the 20K champs on Labor Day. See, I feel like those would be fun to go to. Although some of them coming on like summer holidays is hard. But like those I think will be fun. I just had such a good time going to the half marathon championships in Atlanta. It was low key, but it's still there's stakes, you know what I mean? In terms of like there's lots of things on the line. There's a lot of, at least prestige on the line. At the time there was a world's team on the line, and so I just enjoyed that. It was easy to have access to the athletes. I didn't feel like I was competing with everyone and telling another version of the same story from the weekend, so I just really like that. So I want to do more of that. But we'll see if I actually get to do it. But yeah, my information from sports tours is that like they're gonna announce Cape Town they're moving it. The Cape Town Marathon for 2025 hasn't happened yet. And then they're gonna quickly turn around and open a ballot for Cape Town 2026, announcing it as a major for the first time in 2026, and they're moving it to May. So they're gonna have a real fast turnaround. And they're going to have to ramp it. I don't know. I'm a little bit concerned about it. It seems fast. I feel like 2027, you mean? And they're like, no, 2026. I'm like, you mean 2027? They're like, no, we mean like in a couple of months. So, yeah. I would, yeah. So if I can get there, I'll be there. That's kind of like the way I'm looking at it. So that'll be May. And then hopefully they don't add any more marathons at the end of 2026, because then I can spend the rest of the time chasing around some of these American athletes and seeing what they're doing, And then we're going to start talking about OTQ hunts and stuff like that. And so things are going to get fun. And so that's kind of like, and then maybe I spend the summer, because right now my daughter loves to tell people that she's faster than me. And I'd like to give it one real shot before she gets too much faster, of having like a summer track season. Like I want to find some track meets, run some races, and try to see if I can run. I won't run the same heat as my daughter, but like I want to beat her times or get close to it. So that's kind of one of the things I was hoping to do this summer, but then that changed with Sydney. But we'll see. Leroy says Clayton Young hinted at Valencia in his last video. I mean, the timing would work out, although here's the wrinkle, is that he's going to be doing announcing in Chicago, and I think he's a maybe for New York. I think they're putting him on like one of the lead trucks. And so I feel like those will be really disruptive if he's trying to put together a fast marathon time, And so I feel like he's already locked in for Chicago, which I guess is in 3 weeks. And it wouldn't be, I don't know. I don't know if he's like serious about it or what, but I mean, here's the thing. I feel like Clayton should sign up for or just plan to be in Valencia. And if it turns out that his training wasn't great, then maybe we could do a little roll switcheroo. I'll run the race and he can follow the course around and film me running. I feel like it's fair, you know? Do you think he'd be up for that? I was actually thinking about that today. I'm like, how, like, do you think, I was like, what do you think it would take? What stars would have to line up for me to be able to say, like, Clayton, hey, will you pace me to a 3 hour marathon? I feel like it's a nice long run for you. That would just be a regular long, I mean, that would probably be a chill long run for him. I'm like, but you have to hold cameras. Can you do that? That'd be pretty funny, wouldn't it? Yeah. Mm. So he says it wouldn't hurt to just ask. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Uh, all right. I think that's a good place to leave it for today, guys. I will see you guys again on Thursday. I think I do have packages. I just haven't picked them up. So we'll have some things to unbox on Thursday. Hopefully hopefully the weather will start to get to more normal here. We're on like summer's revenge here in terms of how the seasons are. We've already had false fall back in August. So, um, I don't know if we're just going to have an extended summer. I have a feeling Chicago's going to be hot, but hopefully not, because I'd love for it to get cooler soon. So anyway, until I see you guys again on Thursday, feel free to watch the Tokyo Runners Weekend video. That's out now. It's about an hour long. So if you got like, I don't know, if you need something background noise, I feel like that would be pretty good for you. So enjoy that one, and I'll see you guys again Thursday. All right, bye.